YouTube? What is up? Welcome back to the Radar for Rasslin Studios.
What up, Mox?
Guys, AEW Dynamite just finished up. We have one takeaway from the show. It was a decent episode of AEW Dynamite. Not that great, to be honest with you. Some of it was kind of like here and there. I don't know, storylines are just not really like fleshing out to me. I feel like a lot of it is just like last minute stuff, and they don't really have an idea for most of it, so where they're gonna go with it, and they're kind of just playing it by the hip at this point, shooting from the hip at this point in most of these storylines. So we had a couple things, a really interesting thing towards the end, which is our takeaway about a match happening at Revolution, an interesting stipulation to this matchup that we're gonna have at Revolution, AEW Revolution, a rematch for the AEW World Championship, but we'll get into that. We have some interesting things from Kenny Omega throughout the night.
Interesting boots.
Yeah, interesting boots. I'm not saying that all of that was good that he did, but we'll get into it. But before we do it, remind you guys, drop a like and a comment on this video. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and giving us your info. What you guys think of the product? What you guys think of AEW? What do you guys think of all that? We want to hear your opinions on what you guys thought of AEW and all that stuff. Hear your opinions on wrestling. We appreciate the community continue to grow, and implore you to comment more on the videos and let us know what you guys think. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Notification bell when the videos drop. Social media, you already know what that is, all pops out on the screen. Let's get into it. AEW Dynamite, one takeaway. AEW Dynamite started off with Hangman Page and Matt Hardy taking on the Hybrid 2.
Yep.
Jack Evans and Angelico. The match was I thought it was a good match. Tag team match. AEW likes to start their shows off hot.
Yep. Good match. Yeah,
they started off hot, AEW tag team style match. But this is more about the story between Hangman Page and Matt Hardy. Last week, Hangman Page got drunk, and Matt Hardy tried to take advantage of him by making him sign a contract that would give Matt Hardy 30% of all earnings by Hangman and Page. But Hangman Page decided to swindle him back, and he switched the paperwork because he had that already ready in his pocket, so a new contract.
Because it's wrestling.
Yeah, and he had the new contract being brought out by Jackson Duval, the mascot for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the contract states that that he's gonna get money from it's gonna set up a match at Revolution between Matt Hardy and Hangman Page, and now it's a money match, which I don't know. It's if whoever loses gets to give up all their earnings for the first quarter of the year. So I guess.
I mean, this felt like old school 80s wrestling type of thing, where just random contract thing, whatever. It was fine. I mean, it's getting the point. I like to see Hangman just having something to do. So we'll see what happens. I'm sure the Dark Order will be involved as they were at the end of this match. Should be interesting.
Yeah, so Jackson Duval ends up being, Isaiah Cassidy. He attacks Hangman Page, and Matt Hardy offers Hybrid 2 money to continue the beatdown. Here comes Dark Order to help him out. So we'll see what happens. Dark Order will probably get involved. It looks like he will end up joining the Dark Order eventually. But I kind of want Hangman Page to be doing something bigger than this, but it is what it is.
Well, I think he's going to be like the new leader. That's kind of where they're going.
I guess, yeah. Next thing on the show was the Women's World Title Eliminator match. First round, we had Riho taking on Serena Deeb, the NWA Women's Champion. Very, very solid match. Thought it was really good match between the two. Riho is a tremendous performer, somebody we haven't seen in a long time in AEW. Yeah. And Serena Deeb, what you're going to get out of her. Really good, skilled in the ring. So the two of them, really good, together. Pay-per-view quality match. Kind of thinks like, this probably should have been the final, though, how good the match was. But really? we'll see what happens. Remember, the winner of the tournament faces Hikaru Shida at Revolution, so we'll continue on through this tournament. Riho got the win here, so she advances in the tournament. Next thing on the show is Orange Cassidy versus Luther of the Chaos Project. Cassidy beats Luther. Not much to talk about here. Really quick match, and that's all there is to it. Orange Cassidy's really fallen off recently since since
the Jericho days. I mean, they were building a star there, and it hasn't panned out. I don't think he's to blame. I just think it's like a lot of moving parts in AEW and not a lot of time. So guys are just falling by the wayside. Kind of is what it is. I
mean, it's also a tough character to like build week in and week out because of the
without
way he
a crowd too, and just like without a full crowd. I mean, there's some crowd, but I don't know. I thought it was entertaining. I think you can pick your spots with him. I don't know. Just there's a lot of players, not enough playing time. If you get what I'm saying.
But the thing is too is like it's just the character for you to bring him out and show him every single week. I think hurts the character the way the character is. It should be spread out a little bit, but it is what it is. Next thing on the show, we had Team Taz coming out talking about Sting and calling Sting out. It was Hook, Taz, and Brian Cage in the ring. Sting comes out with the bat. He tries to fight them all off, hits Hook with the bat, and then Brian Cage drops him with a power bomb and flattens Sting on the ground. So it was cool to see Sting take a bump because of the the injury issues he's had in the past. So
Seth Rollins looking at you, bud.
Exactly. Yeah, that freak accident with Seth Rollins. So it was good to see him there, but we'll see what happens going forward. It's just they're just trying to like keep the storyline going by doing as just little as possible to keep you reminding you that the storyline is still there going into their fight later on. All right, so let's get to a couple things here. We had a backstage segment with the Inner Circle, and Santana and Ortiz are taking on the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships tonight, and you have MJF calling out Sammy Guevara and saying that, what did you think I was trying to do? You thought I was actually trying to record you with the cameraman there. And then Chris Jericho cuts him off, tells him MJF to shut up. Chris Jericho says, we all knew what you were trying to do. We all knew you were trying to record him. We all knew you were trying to, poke and prod Sammy Guevara this entire time. But part of the blame's on you. Most of the blame's on Sammy Guevara. He says he hates Sammy Guevara and never wants to hear his face again. Never wants to hear his name again or see his face again. So it looks like that's pretty much it. Chris Jericho not happy with Sammy Guevara here. Then later on we have Kenny Omega showing up in a school, elementary school seems like, and he's reading a book, which is the Young Bucks book, to the class. I thought this was not really a great segment. I thought it was just kind of worthless and pointless, and what the hell was the point of it? It was super short, not much happened, and that's pretty much all there was to that. It was just, I don't think it was a good segment.
Yeah, I thought it was dumb. They were trying to do a comedy segment, it just didn't hit. The kids were off, and the whole thing was just pointless. It didn't add to anything. I don't know.
Yeah. Next thing on the show, we have that tag team championship match, the Young Bucks versus Santana Ortiz, another tag team match on the show, and it was another really good match. I mean, AEW is the mecca right now for tag team wrestling, at least in the States. So yeah, it's the hottest spot for tag team wrestling. It is tag team wrestling. Everything you see on tag team wrestling there is really well done in terms of in-ring work and how they present it. They make it feel important. So, but in the end, you have the Young Bucks retaining against Santana and Ortiz in here, and then you have the entire Inner Circle come down and beat down the Bucks as the Good Brothers, Don Callis, Kenny Omega kind of watch in the back and act like they're gonna help. They want to help, but they're not really. They don't really want to.
Their way to help them out. So it's definitely like that little backstabbing going on coming up. But it was an interesting match only because it was it's a Bucks match with a bunch of high spots everywhere, and then they win by a roll up. So I kind of like that. That was kind of an FU to all the old school guys that talk shit about them. I think that's what they were going for there. Here's looking at you, Jim Ross. So yeah, I think it was something like that. But it was a good match. It was a fun match. The ending was fun. I'm looking forward to see how the Bucks and the Good Brothers and Kenny and they all work in the Bullet Club are all going to work together going forward. And obviously the feud's coming between the Impact champs and the AEW champs.
Yeah, definitely. We're waiting for that to happen. It seems like MJF and Chris Jericho aren't like real threats to actually take the titles off of them. No. It just seems like they're all building towards Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson going against the Bucks eventually for those titles, title versus title or something like that. Next thing on the show, it was interesting. We had I want to start this off by saying that they had this Jade Cargill vignette promo thing where she's like training or something as an athlete with Shaq, and she's just playing basketball, so I didn't really get that. Then they had Shaq shooting free throws, which was funny. So it's just like I don't understand the point of the whole thing. It's just her playing basketball. We all know she's a tremendous athlete, just look at her. But playing basketball, I mean, how does that translate to wrestling? So whatever.
Building the cardio. She's building the cardio.
I guess it doesn't make any much sense. Then they had the gender reveal for Cody and Brandy. It was very quickly done. It's a girl. Congratulations to them. And yeah, all that. But it was in a weird spot. It just kind of happened, and then FTR comes out. So it's a weird spot to have that. I think it's just like done it, then went to commercial, then come back, and then the entrance.
Or left that for Twitter or for social media on the AEW thing, and that probably would have been better. It didn't really make sense. In the wrestling show, it just didn't flow that well.
Yeah, but for the most part, Cody's kind of like booking the show, so he can do whatever he wants.
Keep that somewhere else.
Yeah. So this led to FTR versus Matt and Mike Sydal, the brothers, teaming up for the first time.
Who knew there was a Mike Sydal?
Yeah, who knows? I mean, who knew that was a thing? But he was a dude that actually wrestled. So FTR gets the win here, and they continue on. They would get attacked by Jungle Express after the match. They did the whole Undertaker thing where the lights turn off and they show up in the ring and they beat them down. So that match is eventually going to happen probably at Revolution. We also got a ladder match that announced for Revolution to see who faces the TNT champion and whoever wins it. Right now, I believe Penta, Scorpio Sky, who I haven't seen in a long time, and Cody Rhodes are so far the three guys in it. Yeah, I think it's a 6-man ladder match. They like to do these things with the buy-in. I mean, the casino battle royal. I mean, the casino ladder match and all that stuff like that. So they like to do that kind of stuff. Next thing on the show was the main event. Jon Moxley, Rey Fenix, and Lance Archer taking on Eddie Kingston, Butcher, and Blade along with the Bunny. The match it was a solid match. It's just the star of the match to me is Phoenix. I think he's always the star every time they have a match and he's in it, especially a multi-man match. He just does such of the craziest stuff, and he's so nimble on his feet and quick, and he's just a tremendous performer in the ring, and it's like even the springs for shoes, to be honest with this man. It's nuts.
He's top 3 in the world. Is just in the ring. He might be number 1 just in excitement and craziness and every consistently doing crazy things that look so smooth and so good. Like you said, spring in his shoes. He flies like Mike. I mean, he's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's pretty much like him and Will Ospreay. Probably the two guys are just like the most like quick-footed. Point A to point B type of thing.
I mean,
where they can
Ricochet
just
as well. I think Ricochet got thrown in there too. But I think Ray Phoenix is the smooth. I don't know, something. It's just interesting the way he moves. Just everything is so smooth and easy.
Yeah.
It's really good. His timing is good. It's just, he's one of the best in the world.
He's got pinpoint accuracy, and it's just so quick on his toes. But in the end, Moxley, Archer, and Phoenix get the win here, and then you have a celebration at the end, and then here come the Good Brothers attacking Jon Moxley. Then here comes Kenny Omega, and this is takeaway number 1. We'll take away the show. You see this picture behind us? Kenny Omega talking to Jon Moxley as he's held down by the Good Brothers. He says there's a contract that he has from Tony Khan that says that the original contract from the match that happened where Moxley lost the title, there was a rematch clause put in there, and then the match is going to happen at Revolution. Fine. But the most interesting thing about this is that the match itself is going to be a barbed wire explosive death match. Of FMW fame, they're bringing that into AEW, and it just feels like, I don't know why they should do that, to be honest with you. I don't think those matches ever really are that great. I think they're just kind of ridiculous and pointless. And I think it takes you out of the realm of actually thinking that, you want to suspend disbelief even a tiny bit, because it's just so ridiculous. Let's see how AEW does, maybe do a little bit differently, maybe ground it a little bit more, but it's just such a ridiculous thing. I know they're lauded in history, the death matches, Terry Funk and Mick Foley and stuff like that. I guess if you're into that stuff, you're into it, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't think it fits on a mainstream wrestling company pay-per-view, that actual thing.
I know. I've seen a couple just, like on YouTube or whatever. They suck. They're just very dumb. It's not entertaining. Some reason they throw them on the barbed wire explodes, and the fans are okay, but the wrestlers are, dying. It's like, what? But if it's a big explosion, why are the fans like? Everything is really weird. You can't really play it straight because it's just so stupid and so ridiculous that if you play it dumb, maybe it'll add something to it.
Yeah.
Like don't take it serious. But it's a championship match between Mox and Kenny, so it has to be serious. I don't know. I don't know why they're going this way. Maybe they'll shock us and do something crazy, but those matches really do suck. Like, they're all hype, and in theory, it sounds pretty crazy and wild, but when you see one, it just sucks. So maybe they'll 2020 it and make it something, 2021 it and make it something interesting, something cool, or we'll be talking about it for years to come. Hopefully that's the case, but if it's anything like those ones I've seen, it's complete trash. It's just a tire fire, basically.
Yeah, I don't think they should have went to the stipulation. They had that hardcore match, their first time they were in a pay-per-view main event, that unsanctioned match, and it was violent, and some parts were kind of like ridiculous, like that big, platform out of the barbed wire. Like, why do they have that there? And the bucks it can become comical. So the fact that they're bringing out this stipulation, I think it may end up hurting it, and maybe hurting the run that Kenny Omega's on. I just think it's a ridiculous stipulation to actually bring out, especially for something like this. They leave that stuff in the independents, those crazy promotions that are just made. That's what they want to focus on, the extreme hardcore stuff. Doesn't need to be here. It needs to be more serious and more of a just a really good match in ring, and just leave it at that. I think is probably the best way to put it. But that's takeaway number 1. That was the end of the show. A decent episode of AEW Dynamite. A little bit on the lower side of Dynamite. I didn't really enjoy the Kenny stuff. Was kind of off. But that's the review we have for you guys today. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to check out. I have some live streams coming this weekend for Elimination Chamber. Make sure you check those out when they drop. I post it on my Twitter when they will drop. So make sure you tune into that stuff. I'm doing a lot of collabs with different channels and stuff like that. So keep you guys updated on all that. Remember to like and comment what you guys think of Kenny Omega's stuff that he did on Dynamite tonight, the match, the death match that's advertised. What do you think is going to happen? Are you for the death match? Or are you against it? Let us know in the comment section below. Just let us know in general what you guys thought about AEW and where you think it's headed going into Revolution. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember, for this one, bro, another job.
Later, Barks.